Hey y'all, welcome to Sex Ed for You, the podcast where research meets reality.
I am Lauren, a certified holistic sexuality educator.
And I'm Holland, and I have a Bachelor of Science in Public Health.
Sex Ed for You's podcast is for people who want to date and have great sex that is fun and safe and enjoyable. We like to empower our listeners to make informed decisions that lead to values-based living.
Hey.
Hello. We're back. We wanted to do one. Oh, cheers. Clink. While we were in New York City.
Yeah.
But we didn't because we were tired.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave ourselves grace.
We were booked.
We were booked.
Booked full.
In the acting industry, we say booked and blessed.
Booked and blessed, baby.
That's how we were. People are like, what'd you do up there? And I keep saying, worked a lot.
Like so much. And also had so much fun.
So much fun.
I was trying to summarize it today to my other boss. And I was like, I can't, this is 4 paragraphs long.
We did so much. So we thought that this podcast could be kind of a recap because this is your first time.
It was.
In New York City. And so, yeah, I think it's fun to hear firsts.
Yeah.
We can just make sex jokes the entire time. And yeah, then just kind of what inspired you about it, the different experiences we had. Yeah, we can take this so many directions. I'm actually very excited. I'm like already smiling. I'm like, this is gonna be fun.
I'm smiling because you're smiling.
This is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a fun one. I'll give a little backstory and then take it away. So in 2022, also cheers to Seffi being 2 years old.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God.
Cheers
again.
Cheers.
Cheers to Seffi being 2, Holland having worked with Seffi for a year. Some of that an intern, some of that contracted, some of that part-time employee. Crazy town. But for those who don't know, my baby sister lives in Manhattan. And so in like spring of 2022, when the business was brand new, brand new, I was coming to the city for something else. And my sister said, do you want to just do kind of like a rooftop gathering with some of my friends, this type of thing, and just talk to people? Do like an ask me anything about sex, sexuality, relationships, romance, all that kind of stuff. I was like, sure. So my sister is a producer, for those who don't know. And she makes an event really well. She just does everything wonderfully. It was a huge success. There was like 20 people there. Questions went on. We were on a rooftop. It was beautiful. And beautiful clients came through that. Yeah. And now, not only because of that, but partly because of that and my musical theater connections, which is like a funny backstory part of me. Yeah, we have a lot of New York City clients.
We really do.
A lot. So then we've also built this amazing relationship with the Well Center, shout out, in Armonk, New York, which is kind of 45 minutes north of the city. So they had invited us to come speak on a menopause panel on Wednesday, the 24th of January. And so I kind of said to you, like, what if we go to the city for a week and do some events, invite some clients, kind of do another Ask Me Anything because it was so rich, and allow clients to invite their friends, kind of keep it really intimate, safe, casual, but also like a little fun, like people could dress up if they wanted. And let's see what happens. So we did that. And then we also had that panel discussion. Then we also wanted to just do some kind of like inspiration gathering is what I keep saying. Yeah. Like, it is so good, y'all, to leave the space that you're in sometimes and shake it up and envision what's possible, which we will get to all.
We did all those things.
We did all of these things. And then also spend time together and depart and just let you see the city because it makes sense. So that was all we knew. Yeah.
We literally, those were the things that we had set in stone. That was really it. Those 2 events.
For those that don't know, out of our tiny town in Virginia, there is a train, an Amtrak train, that literally runs from here to Penn Station.
Yeah. New York City, baby.
It's hilarious. So Trey dropped us off at like 9:45. We hopped on the train. We rode with my favorite astronaut, who also happens to live here.
Oh my gosh, I forgot he was there.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we pulled into Penn at 6.
Yeah.
You take it from there.
So we pull into Penn at 6 p.m. There's trains everywhere.
Mind you, Holland's just never been to New York. No. And I'm thinking, this could stress you out.
Yeah, because Trey's the same human design as I am. And Trey gets stressed out by like the sounds of the subway. It did not stress me out. I was just like, this is weird. We're underground. odd. People in Texas are not used to being underground. We don't have basements.
We don't thought about that.
We don't have anything underground. Like, our ground is too hard, and it's like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know the reason for that at all. So if you look it up and I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But like, we don't have anything in the ground except pools. Like, that is it. So I am not used to being under the floor of the earth, but I was, and that was cool. And then we walk right out. I'm like, okay, I'm in New York City. This is large. And there's very tall buildings. And so I was like, oh, I need to send a video to my mom. So I set my phone on my suitcase and go out to do a little like wave at my phone video. And this man just like walks right in front of me and starts like mirroring what I'm doing. So we're just like miming each other. And then I go and pick up my phone and I run back inside to Lauren and I'm like, hi.
It was the most perfect New York City video, y'all. We're like, Holland's gonna take some cute selfie video. No, somebody just walks in her video and starts doing all these things. It was perfect. She was perfectly safe. And I did notice, because at this point I'm just like trying to get the Uber to take us to the hotel, that she wasn't dysregulated.
Yeah.
And usually I can tell pretty quickly if New York is gonna like upset someone, like stress them out, make them feel scared. I feel amazing in any city with a pulse, but especially New York. And yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, she's not stressed yet. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah. I had no thoughts in my brain. It's just Jay chilling. I did have a little bit. I told Lauren about this. Lauren, oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I learned I've been saying Lauren's name wrong this whole fucking time. She never once corrected me. Apparently it's not Lauren, it's Lauren. And I had been saying it incorrectly the whole time.
We should do a poll. How many people pronounce the name Lauren as Lauren or Lauren?
See, they sound the same.
I just can't even. So backstory, I was named after my grandfather, Lawrence. So to me, it just makes so much sense that I'm Lauren.
Yeah, but I say Lawrence too. It's
but
that like
you say Lars.
Lawrence.
Like you did find a friend.
Lars.
Yeah.
Larry.
You do say Lars. Yeah, for Larry. And also
we had to really think about how ours sound when we said
that. That was the New York adventure for
it really
sure.
Was. It was like every day I was like Lauren.
We'll have to tell the story of how we discovered this, but
yes,
continue.
we will. Okay, anyway. So
it's gonna be long. Buckle up.
Yeah. I thought it was wonderful. I knew there was a little bit of fear associated with the city, but mostly because it's a big city and I grew up with a lot of like indoctrinated fear of like, you're a woman, people are going to attack you, you're going to get robbed, like be aware. I genuinely, that's just like kind of the forefront of my mind every time I'm in a big city.
In Sonia Renee Taylor's book, The Body is Not an Apology, she talks about this concept of body terrorism. That so many people in female bodies were brought up literally afraid.
Yep.
Afraid. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, that sits in my body sometimes. Maybe all the time. You'll never know. But yeah, so I didn't really know what to think of it that first night. We just had so much happening, like all the time. Because we went straight from the train station. Lauren gets an Uber. We drive in this Uber to our hotel. Then we get to the hotel at probably 6:40. And our event starts at 7:30. We check in. As we're checking in, we're like getting all our stuff done. It's hectic. We get up to our room. We're trying to get our train clothes off and our sexy clothes on and, do our hair, fix our makeup. Lauren did her makeup on the train. I did mine at 9 a.m. So we're both kind of crusty, except we're not because we're hot. So then we fix it and look hotter and go to our event and have like the most wonderful, beautiful event ever.
So yeah, I would love to hear your take on the event. What was beautiful about it? What was special? Because I think something I watched you notice is that there is a Steffi difference, right? There is a way that we create containers for folks to sit in discomfort and discuss inherently vulnerable things with an air of playfulness and vulnerability and hilariousness, and there's just something special about the spaces we create.
Yeah, there really
is. And I
is.
think that was contrasted later, but like, yeah, how did you feel? What were your takeaways? What were your favorite parts? Obviously, we'll keep everybody's like anonymity, but yeah.
Yeah. I think I really loved it. One, because it did give me a chance to kind of like step into my position in person. Like we've never really had a Steffi event where I was like, okay, like this is my job. I'm going to run this. Like this was the first time I was like, I work for Lauren. Hi. So I got to introduce you and because your sister was sick that night. That was really sad. We did miss her.
Yeah, my sister, that was like one of the reasons we were doing this again.
Yeah.
Deadly ill. Yeah.
That was so sad.
So sad.
But her friends still showed up. That was good. So yeah, I got to introduce you. I got to help create the container, which is something that I really love. Like what you said, I feel like that's not normal for a space to be like, hey, these are our like ground rules, which is super important. Yeah, we asked everybody their pronouns. We asked everybody to introduce themselves and say something about themselves that they wanted everybody to know. It's just really beautiful.
One of my favorite things was early on, we asked everyone to share like why they were there and like what they were looking forward to or whatever. And just so cool. Like so many people said that they find it so important to sit in spaces like this. And even though it is maybe a little like uncomfortable or taboo to be talking about sex, bodies, relationships, STIs, protection in a group setting, that they think that probably it's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an inherent, we all kind of know it, but also it's like societal pressure to not.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see like literally every person in that room be like, yeah, I want to be here, even though I'm a little scared. And like, that's okay. Yeah, I loved that everybody brought their unique personality, and that going hand in hand with that the spaces that we create allow people to live in their own personality and not conform to a group identity. Because you see that like happen so often, and people will be uncomfortable. You know, there's people that are more quiet. There are people that love to talk more. And I think we've done a really good job of building that into our container building section of our events of like, hey, if you're someone who like takes up a lot of space, if you have a big personality, that's amazing. We want you to really lean into that, but also make space for people who tend to be more quiet. And then on the reverse side, if you're more quiet, take space. Be loud, ask questions. We had an anonymous question platform, use that if you don't want to say anything. But then also make space for others. So whatever is, that just really lets people, I think, come into who they want to be in a group setting and gives them permission to be what they already are.
It was so beautiful. There were moments, and you and I talked about this later that night, I think, like laying in our separate beds being like, this was awesome. That there's always in a group setting folks who don't really care to speak out loud, but are getting so much from it. Like you can see their eyes. And that was so beautiful to me, that when you set those ground rules of make space and take space, it is also just as beautiful to say, like, almost, I will protect your space. You don't need to you don't need to speak up. You don't have to share. You don't have to, if you're not a verbal processor, don't, right? And it was just really beautiful. And those, usually the ones who don't feel comfortable speaking in a group, do come up to either one of us afterwards and just say, like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
A little bit of research meeting reality here. So before I was in sex ed, I was in maternal health for a decade. And everything was based upon peer-to-peer support. And I did a lot of research there. But the thing that you're talking about is the I, it, we dynamic, which I didn't know was a thing until I found it. So it's this triangular approach to group leadership.
Okay.
And at any time in a small group, you have to watch out for the I, it, we factor. So I is the leader who ends up getting really egotistical and just sharing the whole time, right? In our settings, it's a little more question, call and response type of thing.
Yeah.
So it would make a little more sense for the answerer. But I'm always trying to watch out. It's like pitching things to you. You did such a damn good job of answering questions when I would just like throw them to you in the middle of a question. But also like back to the audience, right? That when we are like blowing up hierarchical models of learning, it's important to me that even the educator not just monopolize. That's just unattractive. So I is watching out for monopolization, either by the leader or somebody else in the group. It is the like topic.
Okay.
if we could just become obsessed with a topic to the point that like we weren't sensitive to, for instance, remember we only got one ask me anything question in the beginning, like on the anonymous. If we had been like, everybody pick up your phones, it disrupts the group dynamic instead of being flexible in the moment to changing. And then this was really fascinating, is being careful that people in a group can develop their own identity that then becomes exclusive of others. So I watched this when those two people came in later. Yeah. And then the last one came in like, you see that at play when almost the group looks at the other. Yeah. Like, you don't belong here. Yeah. So how are we going to be adaptable to that? Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
That is
so
very
at all times, a group facilitator needs to be watching out for the I, it, we dynamic.
That was really fascinating. I've never heard that before.
Welcome to my mind.
Wow. Now
who knows what person in our audience is going to be like, that was helpful. Sorry, y'all. But
I'm reanalyzing everything I know. Sorry.
Sorry. I was like, Colin's going to love this. It's really helpful in group dynamics. And it's one of my favorite. I got to tell the group on Sunday night. I love groups. I think it is so powerful. I think
it's what you thought you would be doing today.
Yeah, I literally did. That's how I thought when I started Sex Ed for You that we would do lots of group courses all the time. And we just do them. And I still love when we do groups. And Hemlock is groups. Shout out. Go sign up for Hemlock. But no. And I understand. Sexuality is inherently vulnerable. Yeah. Anyway. I thought it was the most magical thing in the world.
It was so fun. We made so many beautiful new friends and connections, and it's just such a beautiful way to connect with people. And we love New York City. So then we'll segue. Everybody's leaving and we're walking one of our friends out, and they're waiting for their lift. And the person who checked us in is on their way out. Lauren?
So the same person who checked us in, who's on their way out, when we were checking in, wait, no, we need to go back a little further. We need to tell the story the whole way. Y'all, this is magical. Buckle up. I get Reiki done often. And when I get Reiki done, shout out to my Reiki person. Oftentimes before we begin, she will say, do you have any deities or goddesses or higher powers that you want to call into this session just to be present and watch over you? She does this all the time. And this most recent Reiki session before going to New York, I had called in the goddess Ocean, which for those who know us, we love the principles of oceanality. She is the goddess of sexuality and power and fertility. And we just love these African sexualities principles. We teach them. We believe in them. So Ocean shows up. She's all in my Reiki session. She's like leading me into a cave to pull something out. Anyway, it was very intricate. We don't need to go into that now. But since that Reiki session, every morning in my morning pages, not only do I always ask myself, like, what's mine to do today? I've also been asking Ocean, like, what do you have for me today? What should I be paying attention to? And the morning we left from New York, Sunday the 21st or whatever, I said to Ocean, like, what's for me today? And she said, like, just know that you are seen and valued. Like, you are enough. You're enough. You don't have to like show up as anything else. Like you, Holland, Sex Ed for You is enough for this trip. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, that's so sweet. All right. So we go to New York. We get to our hotel. We're checking in. The person's like, do you want real keys, not just your fancy Bluetooth key? And Holland's like, yes. Like, okay.
I didn't have the Bluetooth key.
I know. So she's like, give us keys. No. And the person goes, okay, well, here's your keys, Lauren, and says my name. This is where Holland learned she's been mispronouncing my name, but says my name so accurately that it almost sounded like my mother saying it. I don't even know if I've told you this. It was so naturally pronounced that I was like doing something in my bag, looking for our credit card. Yeah, you literally
were like shook.
My head like popped up to her. And to the point that I said, no one pronounces my name that well.
You said, oh my God, you said my name right. I think your first words were, oh my God.
I was literally, and this was like the first moment, she had smiled welcomingly, but this was the first moment we like shared eye contact. Of which then I'm like, holy fuck, this woman is beautiful.
She's so beautiful.
So beautiful. And she's like, oh, really? Like, that's how I've always pronounced it. So grounded, like so grounded. And we didn't, again, as Holland shared earlier, we were rushing. We didn't have time to like spend. But anyway, she finishes this out. I'm like, thank you. Holland has her like come to Jesus
on this
moment.
just meet cute over to me, who's just like, what? I've been saying your name wrong this whole time.
I'm like in heaven. Holland's traumatized. Like, why have you not spoken
and then also
to me
like,
about this?
oh my God, we have to run.
We got to go, Lauren. Enough with this sweet moment. So yes, fast forward to the end. We are waiting with our friend who's getting their lift. And this wonderful human who checked us in is now leaving for their shift, because I'm guessing it's about to be 11 or something like that.
Which also, keep in mind in this whole scene too, like the people when they're leaving are wearing like coats, like big heavy coats, and hoods are on.
Huge. This person's in a blue coat. I'll never forget this. And as they're leaving, they turn to me again and say, have a beautiful night, Lauren. Again, it just like flows off of their mouth. And they go through like the door to exit. And I have this moment where I think, well, Lauren, now that she knows your name, you should know her name. And so I say, excuse me, what's your name? And this beautiful woman in her big puffy blue coat turns back and says to me, Ocean. And I literally almost shit my pants standing in our hotel lobby. And the best part is that Holland knows about Ocean and all this stuff. This other person that we're waiting with is waiting for their lift. It's like chaos.
And like
type
I'm
of
talking
moment.
to them, and
like
elsewhere.
she hears, but like it's not a moment for me to be like, what?
Yeah.
So my whole body is like covered in goosebumps, because already from the interaction with her earlier, the moment on the roof with all of our people, start crying again. And it all, like, we could have gone home then for all I cared. Like, it was so beautiful. And so like over my body goosebumps, we get our friend on the Uber, we get back up, we're changing in our room and kind of decompressing. And all of a sudden I remember, I'm like, Holland, did you hear her name? And she's like, yes, Ocean. And so we started talking about the beauty, and I shared these parts with Holland. And the next day we got to see her. We only saw her one other time.
Yeah, we literally
and
saw her
I
again.
asked her how she spells her name, and she spells it just like the goddess. And I asked if she knew about, oceanality and the principles, and she said yes. And I told her and got to share just, how I didn't think it was an accident.
Yeah,
that she was placed in our lives. And for those who don't know, this business was a huge leap of faith. And anytime we do anything, anytime I bring Holland on, anytime we go to New York City, these are not just like, oh, we should do these things. These are always these giant steps of faith forward in this work, in us. Yeah, so those moments are really special.
They really are.
Yeah.
They mean a lot more than I think the common person would believe, like it's signs from the universe, signs from God, whatever you believe in. It's like signs.
Yeah. Someone calls it synchronicity, and it's like just affirmation. Like, you're on the right path. And for us to start out this trip like that, like, you're on the right path, was a gift that I don't think I'll be able to put into words. And especially when, we talk all the time that we want to build this business in a way that feels integrated to us, in a way that does not feel phallocentric and patriarchal.
And is not forced.
No.
Yeah, like we want it to be so natural, and for this growth and this expansion to come in a way that is not only feasible, but purposeful and authentic, not forced, like, oh my God, we have to grow. And not out of just the need to be bigger and the need to world dominate. It's out of just authentic beauty and expanding in a way that is going to help more people. And it's really beautiful.
Just thought about too is that I took forever to decide on our hotel.
You really did.
And something kept drawing me back to this one line of hotels and location, and I really wanted Holland to be in some place like with a little bit of walkability, because there are areas in New York that are just like touristy, and then there's areas that are really kind of like precious, and that's really cool. I'd like spent a whole day one time like going back and forth and thinking, Lauren, you don't need to spend this long, they're all going to be fine. But our whole hotel was a gift. Like, it was
really
just
was. It was
exactly
really
where
great.
we were supposed to be.
It really was. The placement of it, how close we were to the subway, that bookstore that I loved, kava.
Love us some kava. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the ocean greeted us.
Yep.
That was insane.
It was beautiful.
Anyway, that was a long way to tell the very first evening.
That was the first evening. You are 4 hours into our New York City
We'll
trip.
promise it'll be faster. We promise.
So then our second day was the day of tours.
So many tours.
We went to the Met. That was the first thing we did. And then we went to the Museum of Sex. But in between those places, we went to Mexico, which was some of the best Mexican food I've ever had in my fucking life. And I am from Texas. It was delicious. It was fantastic.
It was so colorful.
It
I keep
tickled
thinking about the colors.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was so,
Our bartender was hot.
It was so beautiful.
It was like, it was perfect.
And for those who know, we like ate at like 3.
Yeah.
Which is a great time to eat in the city because it's kind of like in between lunch and dinner. And so we just sat at the bar and
Dinner.
oh, it was so good.
I love a dinner.
I do too.
Yeah. The Met was beautiful. I do want to also touch on our little morning practice that we integrated. Every single morning, Lauren wakes up before me and she goes downstairs and does her little journaling. And I would stay in the room for another like 10 or 15 minutes. And
Sometimes she was awake. She just let me
Yeah.
have my like feeling of leaving the room before her.
I
I
actually,
knew she was awake.
I did wake up every time, but I just allowed her to think that I was asleep. I was like, don't move.
Let her leave. It is really necessary for me that I don't like interact with another energy before the morning. It's really important to me. So
I tried my best.
you did a good job. A few mornings we had like chit chat and I was like, bye.
I gotta go. So yeah, she would go downstairs and then I would like get on your bed. I don't even know if you know
No. It had such a pretty view.
It was like right next to this huge window, wall to wall window. And so she would leave. I would move to Lauren's bed.
I did not know this. Good.
I would sit there. I would watch the city, open the window, hear the city sounds.
That's beautiful.
And then I would put on clothes that are appropriate for the hotel. She sleeps in clothes that are appropriate for a hotel lobby. I sleep in a t-shirt from college and boxers from Walmart. So I had to change into like my leggings and t-shirt.
I like, in my defense, brought, pajamas that I could go downstairs in that like feel almost like a beach outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have real pajamas.
That's fine.
Anyway, I mean, I do, but they're like Christmas and have boxers all over them. Like the animal, the boxers and snowflakes. And I wasn't going to wear those.
Good.
Anyway, so then I would change, brush my teeth, take my acne pills that I've been taking lately. It's not Accutane, it's like homeopathic. Anyway, take those and go downstairs. And our little hotel had this beautiful little coffee shop with a really good espresso, which I am very judgmental of because I worked in a coffee shop for 6 years. So anyway, side note, great coffee.
Great coffee. Stumptown coffee for those who know. Stumptown's a great brand.
It was really good. And then we would have our little mornings separately. I would go say hi. And then I would go sit in the swing that they had that I loved. So cool. I love to swing.
And they had like a little armchair for me. I love an armchair.
Yep.
We literally sat in the same places every single morning.
We did.
We had the same little routine.
Across the room.
Across the room. Y'all, listen, if you are traveling with a partner, if you are traveling for work, I highly recommend, and we did this, we made a whole like schedule. Think through the things that you need.
Yeah.
So Holland is this projector in human design. I'm a generator. Like, I really need to know who I am, like to find my joy before I am like plugging other people in through the day. And it is literally imperative that I have that time. And I don't even know how to tell people, but like, if I have like spent all of my energy, which was my favorite thing to do, into late Sunday evening, and then we had like just gotten up and gone.
Yeah.
I would have been so drained.
Yeah.
By like 3 p.m. It is how I need to function.
Yep.
And yeah. And then it also gave you alone time. Like you need,
I need
to have like constant space with me would have been just a lot.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
So we did well. And
Yeah, we did it
that
every morning. It was so lovely.
Literally every morning. And then, we went to the Met. It was beautiful. We did a tour. We had a guide. Probably saw 5% of it. It was great.
So much.
It was so good. let's see what else. And then we went to the Mexico place, which was fantastic. And we went to the Museum of Sex. And oh my God, it was so much fun. The Museum of Sex. Also, while we're at Mexico, I get a message from my friend sending me the chair, the king, whatever
That's
the face his
right.
name is. I don't know. One of the creepy, pervy kings of England. There are too many to choose from. And it's like a top layer and a bottom layer. And essentially, it was so that he could have sex with a bunch of women at once without exerting all of his energy because he was fat and ugly. So he sent me that. Like, one of my friends sent me that and was like, LOL, this is hilarious. And I was like, that is hilarious. Showed it to Lauren. We go to the Museum of Sex. First thing we see when we walk in
It's
is
there.
the chair.
The chair.
The chair. I was like, what the hell is this?
It was crazy.
It's so crazy. I don't know if I would call that a sign, but it sounds
Synchronicity. Synchronicity.
it's an invisible thread. And it's connecting me to that chair.
It would be a fun chair. For all consenting adults, it'd be a great time.
Oh, yeah. For consent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, for
fantastic.
kings who have a power dynamic whose people can't choose whether or not
Not
to.
as
No, I
fun.
don't like that.
But
But
I
for
did-
fun times, great chair.
The idea of it.
Lovely.
Fantastic. They gave us the... Why did I just...
I don't know. I thought I knew what you were about to say too. And I was like, well, it's like foreshadowing.
I could not speak. They gave us... Or they didn't give us these,
We
but
paid
we
for.
bought gummies to take. They're little, like a little packet, and it says sex gummies, and there's 2 of them in there. So I ate one. Lauren ate the corner of one. Lauren
Listen, Lauren does not do well on, weed. It is fully legal in this state and in New York. And no, it can send me into like a really scary paranoia place. And I was thinking like, I'm semi in like mom mode, like wanting to protect you. I was like, this could go scary places. So I took a nibble off of one.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt it a little bit,
Yeah.
but like not in a totally wonderful
You
way.
probably had like 0.5 of a gram, which is perfect.
Perfect.
Because honestly, the whole museum, we were there for, I think, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
We probably could have been there for 3 if we didn't have somewhere else to go after.
Yeah. Which is so funny because I talked to people and they were like, yeah, I did the whole thing in like 90 minutes. I literally asked people because
Yeah,
I was
I
worried about the
remember.
scheduling, and I'm like, they did not take into account that this is our field, that we read. The room is not very big where they have like artifacts. We read every plaque.
We read every single plaque, every word of every plaque.
Uh-huh.
And I went back to some.
Same. I was like, let me come back.
I want to consider
This
this,
is
more.
the original petal from the interesting.
Yes,
Who
they
signed
had
this?
the penis bones of animals.
Uh-huh. It
I
was
didn't even know
fascinating.
animals had penis bones.
They had like some OG sex dolls. They had
Yeah.
laurels. They had
They
my
did have
laurels.
laurels. I
we were
loved
so excited
that.
about that. Yeah, so many dildos.
They had a plaque on abortion, which
Yeah,
was really cool.
yeah.
This woman who had to like travel for abortion and all this. It was
Yeah,
very
that's
interesting.
right.
That was the first plaque that I saw.
Yes, in that little room.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway, highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
It's seen better days and like, I don't know, like it has had shinier moments, but the art of it's really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a good overview. Did Holland and I say like, ooh, they were missing this and we
Yeah.
could do this and that would be fun. Yes, of course
That's
we
because
did.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that
anyway.
there were like 3 floors. So the first floor was like artifacts. The second floor was media.
Uh-huh. Sex and media, like sex
Oh,
sells, like
yeah,
this concept, kind of porn, but not really. Like at first it was
Yeah.
like how sex has been used in advertising.
Y'all
and-
remember that PETA ad from 2016? That ad.
Let's also make this a poll because I had never seen that.
I fully knew it. It was all over Twitter. They put it on Twitter because it was supposed to go to Super Bowl. Super Bowl said, we're not putting that on the TV. No. Because it's basically it's 2 screens of full-blown sex. The first one, they're like, this is what happens if you eat meat. And it's like sex that's over in 3 seconds. And then the second screen, it's them just going at it for like a full 2.5 minutes. Just sex. I was like, you were going to try to put that in the Super Bowl?
It was hot,
Babes.
but, yeah.
Like, it's very funny. So anyway, that was 2016 Twitter. That was in there.
That's great. And then some videos
Mm-hmm.
on different parts of our country and trans experience and the lives of Black gay men in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like beautiful little short pieces, like maybe 2-minute films. That was fun. So like it was so well done. Like you climbed up the stairs to like different exhibits and then you went
Yeah.
over and started going down the
Okay,
stairs.
but we have to talk about the orgy video.
I know. So, okay. So what they've done well is like gummies kick in right about the time that you start crossing over into like the fun zone or whatever they call it. And this is when all the fun starts. Like you start going into these exhibits that, you know, have these like kaleidoscope effects and you're learning this, that, and the other thing. And so we went into this like carnival room and it told us the history, which neither of us knew this, that so many carnivals were really about sexual delights. And I really want to do more research into this. I do too. It just fascinating stuff. I knew about some of it. I knew that some of it, because of musical theater again, this came in handy so many times this week. In Camelot, the musical, they talk about the lusty month of May and basically like you're free to do whatever you want to do for a month. And it's interesting because in sex school, we would talk about different long-term relationship dynamics and how some people would be like, you know what, once a year we go to Vegas and my partner and I, as long as we're practicing safe sex principles, are free to sleep with whoever we want for the weekend. And then we come back to our normal, like humdrum Americana life. But it's like our fun thing. And it reminded me of these cultures where, for a month it was like, well, we do whatever we want to. And then we go back to our lives. Yeah. So anyway, we learned about carnivals and all the things. Then we just start going through all these like psychedelic-esque things. Yeah, it was really intense. Up in this. Meanwhile, like the gummies have kicked in, even my 0.5. Yeah, and I was stoned. And they're like, do you want to come to this orgy movie? And we're like, yes, of course. Put us in the chairs.
They didn't even say that though. They were just like, come watch this film. I mean, we were like, okay.
Everything was consenting.
Yes, but, it was but then we went into the thing and he was like, so basically these chairs, this attendant came in. There was us and then 2 other people behind us. And it was these chairs that are similar to, if you've ever been to like a Dave & Buster's and there's rides where they'll like take you through and the chairs move and they blow air and they can, you know, throw water and stuff like that. So it's those chairs.
It's those chairs.
And we're sitting in those chairs and the attendant comes in and he's like, hey guys, you're about to watch what is best described as an orgy. There will be water thrown on your face. Have fun. And like walks back out. And then this video starts and it's like a huge screen that's kind of like a half circle, just like encompassing all of us. And this video begins and our chairs start moving and we're going through like holes.
Orifices? Like is the best way to describe it. And it's like, yeah.
And then like there were holes in chests.
Yeah. It was never like going in somebody's vagina, was it? No. I don't think it was ever like that. No, there was no vaginas or anuses. There were lots of penises
but like flaccid ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It was never like, I mean, you give your experience. To me, it was never fronting. It was more just like wild.
It was just like, it was a very artistic interpretation.
Yeah. It didn't feel like there should have been a trigger warning. No. It felt like, whoa.
And it definitely wasn't what I would describe as pornographic.
No.
It was naked and there was moaning, but it wasn't like.
Wasn't it like chains where people like?
Yeah, there were people like thrusting like, into a chain link fence.
Keep remembering these pieces.
I know. I keep getting like flashes of.
But like so we did get sprayed with water.
Yeah, we got sprayed with water, and the chairs at one point were like thumping into our ass cheeks.
There was another part where like things were like tickling our legs.
Yes, and I moved my legs. I didn't like that.
It was an experience.
It sprayed water in our faces twice.
Like when we went in somebody's mouth and then when we did something else.
And it was, he also gave us a, if anybody has epilepsy, warning to not be in there. He did give us that.
That was very
because
wise.
there was like flashing. That's what
100%.
There was flashing at the end and like loud thumps. It was so chaotic. It was very artistic. It was very beautiful.
It was like going to some like modern dance concert that's depicting which I did once.
Oh. Was it similar?
That just came. That memory.
Oh my
came
God,
flying
I've done
back.
that.
When my gay ex-husband and I were in Montreal, we were like, we should go see some dance. Signs to know you're married to a gay guy. He's like, yeah, let's go see a modern dance performance. No, it's okay. I think Trey would do that too because he loves all forms of art. Totally. I think there was like a little like asterisk that said like nudity. Which I just assumed that, like, it meant, like, there was some nudity in a number.
Yeah.
No. The whole thing. Everybody was naked for the whole thing, which I love. I love nudity.
Yeah.
Again, signs I should have known I'd be a sexuality educator in the future. I loved the whole thing. but it was like, yeah, just naked people in bushes. And I'm sorry, I touched the mic. Naked people, pubic hair, dancing, boobs flapping, cocks flapping. The whole time was beautiful dancing. Yeah. And it did remind me of this art piece of it is beautiful. I don't necessarily think it's erotic. Like I wasn't necessarily turned on. I was mesmerized. You were? Yeah. Okay, we'll get to you. I was like fascinated. Like I am so fascinated by the human form, by the beauty of the human body, by the differences in bodies, by the textures and the I love it. I'm like endlessly fascinated. Yeah. I don't think I'm turned on when I am observing art.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was like turned on, but I did want to have sex.
That's turned on. My gentle audience, if you are part of some media experience that you say, I don't want to have sex, that means you were turned on. You were aroused by the material.
Just like a little bit. Like not like fully. Just like, oh.
But isn't that, okay, the most beautiful form of turned on? Because people were just being bodies. Mm-hmm. We should do a whole nother thing on porn. Because I think so much of the porn that we all view is like curated to like be for a certain thing. I don't think this was trying to like appeal to one person or the other.
No, and it wasn't pornographic.
It wasn't.
It really wasn't. I'm just me. I don't know, man.
You're allowed to be turned on. You're in the Museum of Sex.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, we were also being thumped in our butts.
Yeah, it was the thumping that did it for me.
That was the kicker.
I like had to like sit up.
Woo!
I like took myself off the seat.
My genitals are on the seat, people. Yes, I'm clothed, but whoa.
Yeah, it was just intense. Anyway, so then we went into like a kaleidoscope room and watched videos. Like lights and mirrors and you put your head in this hole, which sounds weird, but it wasn't that weird. And then there was like a screen and we could stand by each other with our heads in the holes
and watch like
and watch
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then we went and played games.
Mm-hmm.
We got married. Put a ring on it, baby. Mm-hmm. Friend married.
We got work married, friend married. That was fun. You could play lots of different like competition games. There was one that was like you could stand in the stalls of, like a public restroom and try to jerk off as many cocks as you can. And we really enjoyed watching this straight hetero couple. And she was like really good at it.
She was really good at it.
Really good at it. You had to yank, so like a dildo would pop out at you and you had to yank it 3 times before and the next one would come out. And she was just like going. And the guy knew we were watching them.
Yeah.
And he's like
tapping him.
Trying to like not touch.
It was
we were
cute.
like,
he got into it.
And then he got into
it.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked that.
Yeah. And then we played like a skee ball game.
We got
married.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And then we ran to Broadway.
Then we literally jumped on the train.
Yep.
Ran to Broadway. That was all Holland saw of Times Square. The run through.
That's all I needed.
It was fine.
I'm a type 4. I don't want to see the thing that everybody else likes.
I don't want to go there.
No. I want to go to East Village.
We saw one of my besties' shows, 6 on Broadway, which was fascinating because I was telling Holland, and I don't want to give like the plot of the show away, but y'all can listen to the original Broadway cast recording. Is almost like women rewriting their story. Mm-hmm. And so the final number is almost a renegotiation of trauma through play. And so I like leaned over to Holland and was like, oh my God. It was really put this together. It was great.
It was wonderful.
For those who want a quick Broadway show, there's no intermission. It's like 10 musical numbers and then you're out.
It was so great.
It's lovely.
I loved it. And then we found an amazing Italian restaurant right next door.
Accident.
The bartender winked at Lauren 7 times. Literally 7. Not 1 or 2. 7.
He's a very handsome older
He
man.
didn't wink at me. I'm a little offended.
Well, but the other one was more into you or you were more into him. Yeah. This bartender was much more my age range.
I guess.
I'm sure he was like 20. How many years? I'm like a good
He's
16 years older than you. This guy was like Older.
He had gray. He had some gray going. He was a silver fox.
He was a silver fox.
He was hot.
And Italian.
I'm just saying, I should not be excluded from the silver
winking.
foxes and the winking.
The winking was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we booked it back to our hotel and slept. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Tuesday.
Oh
my God.
God, we got to go
We're
faster through this
Tuesday.
recap.
We have 10 minutes left.
We can do this. Tuesday, I think Tuesday was
Stonewall.
precious. I really loved Tuesday.
I did too. I loved Tuesday.
So Greenwich Village, for those who don't know, is the site of the Stonewall riots. And I love Greenwich Village, and I love the history that happened there. And I know about Marsha P. Johnson and all of these things, but I really thought somebody with a little more like education might be able to take us on a walking tour and show us the history that's not usually talked about.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we found Andrew of Streetwise Tours. Shout out. And it was phenomenal.
It really was.
That was one of my favorite things we did. So
So
much.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to. Yeah, we learned a lot.
That's all. We learned so much.
So much. And then we went to Washington Square Park. That was the end of it. We met Larry the bird guy.
It was fun.
Larry was great. And then we went to that cute little restaurant that you love. Had a delicious lunch. Oh my, all the food. Honestly, not gonna lie, the food was my favorite part. Had a fucking fantastic burger and chicken sandwich that we split.
That was amazing.
And then we went to, we went to Cafe Reggio.
Right away?
Yeah.
We didn't do something first?
No.
Anyway, one of the things that we had learned about was this incredible, I almost don't want to tell people about it.
You can't go.
Never mind. You don't get to go.
It was I already said the name, so they're going to
You're going to have to go backwards. And it was packed, but we got a little table.
They have benches from the frickin' Medicis.
Like, no lie?
Like the Medicis.
Like the
Catherine de Medici.
Like, that's how we learned about this space, because Andrew took us in and was like, check the benches and the art on the wall. That's
insane.
original.
It was beautiful. I had tiramisu. It was delightful.
I had a cheesecake that I could only eat about 6 bites of because we ate at that place before. But we sat there and read for like 2 hours.
I eavesdropped on a conversation.
It was so
a
good.
weird date.
People watching in New York is
So fun.
the best.
So then we went, that was our rejuvenation time because we did feel dead.
Yeah, we had walked for like 2 hours.
We had walked for 2 hours,
good.
and the day before was exhausting. So then we went to the Comedy Cellar.
Oh my God.
That was so much fun.
Holland you'd never been to
I've
stand-up,
never seen
right?
stand-up.
Trey's favorite is stand-up, and I didn't know the art form really before him, and it is so fun.
It really was.
So
We had a great time.
fun.
We had an interesting couple sat next to us. I'm telling you, the people watching, insane.
Yeah. And there were a few jokes that were like not correct, like with the sex education. And yeah, don't try to do that to us.
No.
We were not thrilled.
We would like have some side eye moments where like,
no.
that's not right.
Yeah. Don't speak down to people who work in the sex field.
No.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't try to equate that. That's not funny.
Yeah.
But everything else was really
Yeah,
funny.
it was really funny. The guy from Dave, the redheaded manager that's in Dave, was there. He was commentating. That was good.
It was good.
great.
And it's a really fun, like inexpensive, delightful
not
thing.
bad at all.
And we were literally steps from there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we had said about our Tuesday, is that Tuesday night, we knew we wouldn't be super exhausted compared to later in the week. We wanted to leave it open for like whatever was going to happen.
Yeah, that was perfect.
And it was so perfect. And then we were out by like 9. And I think we went back to our hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Because Wednesday was the menopause panel day and a big travel day. And we knew that the brunt of our work would kind of be from like 3 p.m. till like midnight when we'd get back. And so we were really trying to pace. And this is the other thing that I just really love about being a big person who runs her own business, is that, I was like, no, we're not going to do a lot that day.
Yeah.
Like, I think you got the podcast up.
Yeah.
And you took a walk to your bookstore.
I did.
Yeah. And I went through the anxiety that I go through before every speaking event, and I just needed to. Like, there's nothing else I can do. And quiet time, food, coffee, rest.
It was delightful.
It was good. And then the menopause panel was great. It was really wonderful. We commuted all the way upstate. That was a long ways.
It was a long ways. We had a very interesting Uber driver.
Oh my God. Yes, we did. That was hilarious. It was raining. She was the most New Yorkist. I was actually glad that Holland got to experience this because that was the definition of New Yorker.
Yeah.
And oh my God, she's talked the entire time. It was amazing. And it was scary. And you wondered if you were going to come out alive.
Yeah. The driving was not top par, but her conversational skills were something.
Something. It's such a contrast to the guy who brought us back.
Yeah.
Who was just silent and had some
As we
beats
talked about
going
menopause.
on for us.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then, yeah, the audience was incredible. Love our friends at Well Center. It went as well as could be expected. And yeah, I was glad that it got us up there for sure.
For sure.
And yeah, it just reminded me again, it was so neat for me to do that conversation in contrast to the conversation we'd had on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because they were different and yet so much the same.
Mm-hmm. I really liked it for the part that it played in our brainstorming later in the week.
I find it fascinating how Helen's brain works, because she is meant to see into things and then see how, for the sake of the business, like how the Seffi brand should do things or how she would done things differently. And it's imperative. And I just think it's so brave when anyone does anything for the first time. I just always want to celebrate people who do things. And I love my friends at the Well Center. So shout out if you're watching and you attended our monk thing. So cool. Yeah, but we didn't get back into the city until so late. And we got some food truck food.
Oh, we did. That was really good.
That was really yummy.
We got gyros.
Uh-huh.
I got a hot sausage. I didn't know what that was going to be, but it was good.
That's good. And then Thursday was like our Brooklyn day, but we took it slow Thursday morning.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we were slowing down, which is exactly what I thought we'd do.
We were exhausted. We found this really cute store called Muji or Muji, one of the two, M-U-J-I. You interpret that. It's Japanese, so good. I think. Mm-hmm. Coolest store ever. I spent 20 minutes staring at pens. Yeah. Not even kidding.
We should put the link below because it's really a magical store.
I literally sent it to my boss.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It really is.
It was really cool. And we took the ferry to get there. Y'all are seeing in real time how my brain works.
Yeah.
I was
Holland bounces. Yeah. I was like, you know what? Let's take the ferry because we were in like Manhattan proper and I really, really love the ferry.
Yeah.
And I wanted Holland to experience it.
I love water.
So we went down to the financial district. And that was fun. So that was like our only time with the finance bros, as you call them.
Yeah. The Fi Guys. We got coffee that rejuvenated me. I was dead. I started my period on Wednesday. I spotted Tuesday, started Wednesday, felt absolutely miserable.
That's why we took Thursday so slow.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
I felt dead. I was upset. I was in pain and I was not feeling happy.
Wednesday night was a joy to watch her face while sitting on a panel discussion. Here's the inside experience of Lauren, her boss, looking out into the audience, just seeing the grumpiest Holland I've ever seen, being like, Lord have mercy. I know. So I had been menstruating too. So this was like day 3 or 4 for me.
She makes me menstruate.
I do. And I knew this. And I knew all the things, but I'm still looking at Holland, who is not typically a grumpy person, being so grumpy. Well, that's because her period was about to start the next day. And she's like got thinking face on. And yeah, so Thursday morning, that's why we took it so slow.
Yes.
Yeah, which is totally wonderful.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that we really value and honor menstruation, which I have notes on this, but I think that it's one of the reasons why this trip was so magical for us, because we honored these things for you and for I, and then the brainstorm coming back, I think fell on day 3 for you, which is like the dreaming day.
My perfect dreaming day. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, shout out mindful menstruation by Sex Ed for you. It's a thing.
I felt dead that day. So then as we go, I take 3 naproxen sodiums, and I took naproxen sodium is a Aleve. Sorry, that's the gin pop name for it. So I took that, and I took the rest of the edible that you hadn't eaten. So 2 milligrams.
Yes, because I was like, is there anything that will calm your body?
Yeah. And so we did that. We got on the ferry. And as we're getting on the ferry, I have my nitro cold brew in hand that was life-changing from, I think, like Bob's or I don't know. I kept the thing from it. Gregory's. I love Gregory.
She loves it
kissed
so
that
much
man
she
on the
forgot the name, but it was good.
I kept the thingamajiggy.
Good.
The
Gregory's
coffee
is
collar.
great. It's very New York.
Yeah, I'll kiss that man on the mouth if I ever see him. That was the
Those
best nitro
glasses.
cold brew I've ever had.
So you have your nitro cold brew.
We get on the ferry, and it was just beautiful. We sat on the top. It wasn't that cold. It was like brisk, but windy.
50 in New York that day.
Beautiful. Fog on the water.
Oh
We
my
see
God.
Lady Liberty holding her little torch up for the world. It was beautiful. And then we go to Muhi, and we see pens, and I stare at the pens for 20 minutes.
Everyone who's had a day one of menstruation knows exactly what Holland's talking about. You're like, are these the most beautiful pens I've ever seen in my life? I think these are.
I think these are.
She's just walking through the store being like, I love this store. Which, shout out to my best friend. I wouldn't have known about this store if my best friend hadn't been like, this is the most amazing store, and then told me about it, and then I followed them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I know they have like 4 storefronts, and that's it. So
Yeah.
we found one.
We found one.
Yeah,
And we were
that
there.
was very therapeutic for our bodies. That's for sure.
Bought a lot of socks.
Yeah.
And I got these really cute, teeny tiny little containers, which I'm really excited about, and I've already used one.
Then we went to Linner again. That's our favorite meal.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
Linner.
We love Linner, and that was magical.
Best Caesar salad ever.
Yeah.
The food that I had on this trip was impactful.
It was really good.
So good. I did make my own Caesar dressing the other night, and it was delicious.
Was it as good?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm pretty good like that. No, I'm kidding. It was my mom's recipe.
It was delicious.
It was so delicious. You had delicious food too.
I did.
And then we went to June Shine.
Shout out.
We love June
So for those who don't know,
We drink June Shine.
we drink June Shine. Can they sponsor?
Can we please?
Can you guys be a sponsor of
I'm
this podcast?
gonna tag you in this.
Please.
June
That would be
Shine?
so fun. Can they sponsor our events?
We look so pretty with your cans.
It's hard kombucha, and they started in California, I think, and New York has one little like in-person place where you can go get it on tap, and it was right near where we were going to shag.
Yep.
And so we were like, we gotta go, and we had lovely. It's so lovely because it is obviously alcohol. It just goes, it's lovely. I like to think
It tastes good. It's low
refreshing.
percentage of alcohol. It's like 6 or 7 usually.
It's great.
And it's like, it's not too much sugar, so it doesn't make my head hurt or my tummy hurt. And there was a chili mango one that was life-changing.
Life-changing.
And I dream about it sometimes, every night.
I've never seen it, so don't go try to purchase it in a can. I have never seen it purchasable in a can. My favorite is blood orange mint. Your favorite is
Chili mango.
no, that you can purchase on Bankston.
Probably mango daydream.
Okay, yeah. You can buy those sometimes into places. And
Yeah.
if you live in a
Kroger.
big city, you can just get it shipped to you from the Amazons or the Whole Foods. Or June Shine, you can sponsor
You can
us.
mass send it to us. We'll consume it.
We will talk about it on every podcast. I am not kidding. Let's reach out to them.
I will. I really will.
We're like, do you like sex? Good, us too. Do you
like
like
kombucha?
kombucha? Us too.
Great, us too.
Do you like research and fact finding? We will research your product.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the benefits. Please sponsor us. Anyway, we went there. We were going to. This was really beautiful too. And we, for those who don't know, we love erotic literature. And there's this little bookstore down deeper in Brooklyn, kind of Park Slope area, called the Ripped Bodice. And we had wanted to go there.
Yeah.
And as well as a certain bar that you had found. And you, in your wisdom, turned to me. We're like, Lauren, you said it like that too, not Lauren.
I did
You
on
said,
purpose.
Lauren, I'm really tired and I'm really menstruating and I don't know if I want to go all the way down. And for those who don't know, we love consensual communication here at Cefi, because if Holland had not said anything and just gone with the flow, we would have gone 30 minutes down south on a train, only to then have to go an hour up north on a train to visit my sister and her boyfriend, which was the only time we could see them this whole trip. And if we had gotten down there and Holland had not been enthusiastic about these things that we were technically doing for her, I would have been so sad. would have been like, why would we do this? Like, this was for you.
Yeah.
And so I just applaud your bravery in that moment.
Thanks.
Did you feel like, was it scary to say? Or were you just like, I can't? Were you just thankfully menstruating? So
I thought about it for a while.
Okay.
I was like, should I just drop hints? Or...
No. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I was... Because I also wanted to go, because part of the plan was to go to Ginger's, a lesbian bar. And I really wanted to go because I really wanted to make out with a hot girl. I was like on my New York City bucket list.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. And I was just like, I didn't feel that good in my body that day. I felt very bloated and icky. I wasn't really wearing like a great outfit. I had all these great outfits planned, and I didn't wear one that day.
Yes, you did. You look so sexy.
I looked fine, but it wasn't like the outfit I want to wear to like my first lesbian bar.
Okay.
You know?
Yes. And I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my boots on.
You brought them. We both brought our boots.
So I was just, it was just not feeling good.
No.
And I was like, I think maybe we should not do that. We should just stay at this June shine.
I so applaud because it's so funny. I was talking with clients about this earlier. Sexuality, right, is ours. And if we want to do something, it needs to come from a place of desire inside of us.
Yeah.
Not from we have to.
Yeah.
That like doesn't lead to pleasurable sexual encounters, even if it's a make out and it doesn't like move all the way to like fingering. Like it's gotta come from us.
Yeah.
And we have no responsibility to to like please someone. No, the yucky.
And expectations, you know?
Yeah.
No responsibility.
I'm just
to
so
that.
proud of you. We were gonna meet with a friend, and so it caused us to like renegotiate the evening with her, and she loved the change of plans too.
Yeah.
Like it all just worked out
It really did.
beautifully.
And then we went and saw your sister and her partner. Oh, we went to Shag.
We did go to Shag. We wanted to get to
okay.
one sex boutique. Yeah. It was good. We did come like 30 minutes before closing, which is never
that's fair.
anybody's favorite time to go to something.
True.
And they were doing an event across town. Yeah. So like,
I think that, they were
we met them at the
drawn
wrong
out.
time.
But yeah, it was cute. I did like it more than I've liked most sex stores in my life, because usually they're very aggressive.
No, I often think that in the world in which we have a storefront, we would also have art and things like this place did, and offer classes. They offer classes all the time, and it makes sense. It really does. And everything was beautifully portrayed and displayed. And
We almost bought a piece of art. We didn't because we were traveling. But
I was like, how am I going to get this home?
yeah,
This is really
we did get a
exhausting.
really cute tiny penis incense holder.
Yeah, it's in the
I'm
sanctuary.
excited about that. Oh, and Flint's mints,
Yeah,
which have been fun.
yeah.
They make your mouth spicy.
They make you salivate.
Like a lot.
Yeah. Then met up with sister and her partner at 9:30 at night,
It was so late.
and then stayed with them till 1 something in the morning.
Yes.
Didn't get on a train back, and I think we only had to take one train. Do we have to take?
No,
one
we had
train
intended
too?
to take a train. The train didn't show up. We took an Uber.
That's right.
The train was delayed.
Alan got to experience like a real New York City MTA moment. Yeah, which is when the train just doesn't come, and then it's like delayed again, delayed. And it was cold by this point. I was so glad we brought our heavy coats.
Yeah, me
because
too.
it was 50 when we left. And we
Yeah.
were like, we don't need these. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we were like, nope, this is an Uber time. We'd only Ubered one other time. It was like, it's okay. Let's do this. We need to get home. And it was great. It took us right home.
It
in
did.
record time because nobody's on the streets.
Yep, at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. So that was our New York City. And then we get into our Friday, which I think is when we had like the world's biggest breakthrough.
Oh, okay. So one of the things we learned on the Greenwich Village walking tour is the origin of the word brainstorm.
Yes.
Which is really special to me for some reason from a business perspective, that it really had to do with the first plea, not guilty upon insanity. And it was really, I'm having a storm of thoughts in my brain. But that is where we derived the term brainstorm from. So we have our slow morning. We were going to podcast. We didn't. Now you're getting this podcast. And we get in the train at like 2, and I don't know, we just start talking.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened.
We were just talking about, and then I looked at you and I said, why am I not taking notes?
Yeah.
And I got out You're Remarkable and just started furiously.
Flurry. Y'all, like that moment when inspiration strikes and you just like can't stop. Like we had been verbally talking for like 20, 30 minutes, and then Holland gets the Remarkable and she's just like scrawling everything that we've been talking about. And it was beautiful. Do you want to tease anything out, or are we just keeping it all a secret?
Let's just say we'll be in New York City a lot more often. And also, I do think it is of importance to note, you and all the people we were talking to, everybody was like, oh my God, it's your first time in New York City. Like, how do you like this city? And it wasn't until probably Thursday or Friday that it finally like sat with me. Like the reason I didn't know what to say to people. I was like, I mean, I don't have that like, oh my God, it's magical feeling that everybody else did. Instead, it almost felt like slipping on a newly tailored shoe. Like a shoe that was made for me, but it still has like a little bit of wearing in to do. That's what it felt like. It felt like coming into a place that is made for me, but I need to like get my own bearings. It felt so, I just had this really weird like premonition of like, I will live here one day, which I cannot lie, my little four self hated a little bit because I was like,
She was like angry.
Every bitch comes here and thinks, oh my God, I'm gonna live in New York City. I was like, Holland, shut up. But it was in a positive way, and then I came to terms with the fact that it would be stupid for me to not do something because everybody else does it anyway. So after some self-talk, I realized that I do, like, it was not necessarily a feeling of I want to live here one day. It was a feeling of I will. Like, it's just, it feels right. Something is clicking in place. It just felt like pieces were falling together, especially with, like, the plans we had on the train. It just was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, this is where you're supposed to be, like a Tetris game.
Yeah. So I think that's what we'll leave them with.
Yeah.
It's like a Tetris game. And again, with this business, I so feel in my body that we're not to push. We're not to make things happen. We are to let things happen and unfold and then chase dreams, right? And learn along the way and, go where we're called. And after the Sunday evening event, we had many people come up to us and say, so like, can we do this more often? And then after the Wednesday event, we had similar things like, so you're in the city? And we were like, no, we're in Virginia.
And they were like, you should be in the city.
So yeah, things are coming down. Nothing drastic. Nothing will change. But just stepping into, I just love what you said. That was the most beautiful analogy I've ever heard in my life. And I'm sure the entire audience is thinking, wow, yeah. Just putting on the shoes that were made for us and not being afraid to put them on because they're so beautiful. There's so many things that go around the internet that's like, use the fine china, right?
Yeah.
Put on the damn shoes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the talk we had coming home.
Yeah.
Of what are we waiting for? Like, we have these tools. Let us not be selfish. Let's put on the shoes and step into the role that we're supposed to be playing right now and learn from it. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
So yeah, we're very excited about 2024. We already were. But then we were looking back after this brainstorm at our vision board that we made. And then we were like,
already coming true.
Whoa. So shout out vision boarding. If y'all don't do that, you should do that.
You should do that. It's kind of terrifying. When we were doing it, I was like, la-di-da-di-da. I just like this picture. It's pretty. And now 3 weeks later. 3 weeks, people.
And it's so refining too, because then when you look back at your vision board, you can be like, yeah, that's right. No, that thing that we wanted to do didn't align with what we set our sights on, what we truly were manifesting. And neuroplasticity is a thing.
It really is.
Anyway, this was the storytelling episode. But I do think it'll be really cool to look back on this in like a year.
I do too.
Be like, that was the day.
That was the day.
Yeah. So it was a good trip. It's a really transformational trip. And for those who don't know, I have always loved New York City and have always thought, most of all, I'm supposed to tell stories there. Yeah, I grew up in musical theater, and so of course I've been drawn to like the Broadway thing, but I just like deeply in my soul from the age of like 16 knew, oh yeah, like someday I'll tell stories there. But I've always thought like I'll be called there.
Yeah. The phone's ringing, baby.
Phone's ringing, baby. Okay, we'll wrap this episode up. Thank you for listening to however long this is, of Sex Ed for You with Holland and Lauren and Holland. I don't even know where research meets reality. Please remember that these are just opinions and thoughts and experiences, and you should go form your own. We really support your right to self-determination. We didn't share much like factual information today, but we really do encourage you to go do your research. We are research nerds. We love it. And we support you. And if you ever have a piece of research that goes against something we say, please send it over. It's fascinating to us. Anything else?
Follow us on Instagram.
sex_ed_for_you.
If you would like to request a free consult, you can at this link. I will put it right here. It is sexedforyou.com/free consult.
Come hang out with me. It's fun.
Only if you actually want to get
Sorry.
education.
If you want education, come hang out with me.
You can't just hang out
No,
with
just
Lauren.
hang out with me. Sorry. No, not like that.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. It really does mean the world.
It really does. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.